back and forth.
Yeah, over $19,000, which is chump change to these people.
Well, exactly, because she's attending in a private capacity, but the taxpayers are paying for it. That's why people are getting up in arms about it. But I don't believe she's actually on the list, which, again, I mean, she put out a press release saying she would be there, and she's not on the list, although I've only scanned it briefly. So, again, there's more people who are there who aren't on the list.
That is true. Here's an interesting name. I'm looking up some information on him right now. Fred Krupp, president of the Environmental Defense Fund. That sounds like it's got Agenda 21 written all over it. I'm going to do some looking up on this guy and see what we can find out. Peter Mandelson of Great Britain, member of the House of Lords.
Mandy.
Yeah. What can you tell us about Mandelson?
Oh, Mandelson's routinely there. He's there every year.
Everybody can just sit down and relax.
He kind of pops back in and out of British politics. He gets whacked down by a new scandal and keeps popping back up, and he's always hanging out with Rothschilds on their yachts in Monaco. So he's an integral member. And yeah, like you said, Fred Krupp, Environmental Defense Fund, which is a non-profit environmental advocacy group, which we know they're talking about that because that's why the Canadian premier is there to talk about, quote, ecological issues and sustainable development. Yeah, so they're talking about Agenda 21.
We'll come back to him, but I think we're going to go throw to Alex right now. Alex is on the scene in Chantilly 3.0 Bilderberg 2012. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, I was just going to pop in and let you guys finish your point, but then it'd probably be a good time for me to go through the intel I've gotten from moles inside Bilderberg, not Bilderberg members, but inside Bilderberg. And I think it'd be a good time for me to, we're still live streaming, right, Aaron? Fantastic. We'll continue to give you shots. No, that's all right. You take a break. I'm just saying, let's aim it up the street like that. Perfect. Great job. We're going to continue to be streaming out here on the street. This is real journalism, real full spectrum resistance to the globalist. Couldn't do it without all the supporters and listeners out there. You guys continue. I just wanted to let you know coming up in the next segment, I've just got to collate this. I've got so many notes here. I've got what they're really discussing, not just the items on their agenda. We've never gotten more information because they're so rude and so mean to the employees inside and so hateful with their advance team. And they were so mean to people 4 years ago when they were here that we're just getting amazing information and intel on these guys, and we're absolutely kicking their butt. And it feels so good in my heart, and I feel so humbled to see all these parents out here with their children, to see old people, to see young people, to see black people, white, Hispanic, Asian, who all just have the same light in their eyes of a desire for liberty and freedom and humanity beginning to wake up and unify against these globalists. Because this is a life or death situation that we're facing here. We've got to defeat these people, and it's so amazingly important. The shadow government, the shadow corporate fascist system that uses socialism to get us to does not want us knowing. And so many, I ran into probably, wow, look at that plane with two propellers on the back. Isn't that weird and high-tech looking? You see that? We're at Dulles. There's all these crazy aircraft going over us. We probably should send people out to, what's the name of the one? Yeah, there's the Manassas is where they're really landing, and also the Jetway. That's where it's all going. But we've got listeners out there as well, so it'll all get out one way or the other. But to realize that the globalists are attacking humanity. They don't just want to conquer us. They want to dumb us down and kill us. I mean, it's in their own reports. And, oh, yeah, back to the cops. I'd say 90% of the police are really good people. But then, finally, I was talking to, like, the second in command. And when he came over and started saying, yeah, I'm a listener, the head guy runs out of the bushes and runs over and goes, that's it. Stop talking to him. And I was just going, man, why are you guys, if somebody stops their car for 20 seconds out here in the middle of nowhere in this office park to let somebody off because you won't let people park around here, why are you giving them tickets? I said, come on, you wouldn't do that to a regular citizen. And he was about to say, yeah, you're right, we wouldn't. Of course, he was saying, well, I wouldn't. But so what's sick is the higher-ups of the Fairfax County Police are telling them to just absolutely hammer American demonstrators and the sacred First Amendment that people have fought and died for so hard that most countries don't have. Australia's banning free speech. I mean, I can't believe how fast this is moving. The globalists are doing this everywhere. You've got an illegal Logan Act violating event You got these military types in their black Chargers driving in, smugly looking at us on a power trip because they jog and lift weights, know how to shoot a gun, and they serve the dark New World Order, so they're part of the winning club. You're not part of the winning club. Understand, even if you're delusional, you're not part of the New World Order. To all the yuppies that say, okay, put poison in the water, there's too many people. They're doing it to you, you idiot. Okay, even if you think that's the right thing to do, which it isn't. And then they say reduce population. Let's say there's too many people, okay, which is debatable. The globalist actual population documents, Memorandum 200 in the State Department, admit that if they just industrialize Latin America, Asia, and Africa, the people start having 1.3 kids like everybody else, and you'd have a population drop. Russia's having to pay people to have kids. All the industrialized world are dying. Instead, the globalists keep the third world in squalor. People have 7, 8 kids. Half of them die, and they try to give them bioweapons and chemical weapons to dumb them down. It's just evil. The globalists just like to hurt people. They like to exercise raw power. All the medical testing on the troops, all the medical testing on foster kids, I'm done. They're the enemy. And later, I'm going over there to bullhorn them when they really start arriving. Some of them are here now, to let them know, in no uncertain terms, that we understand they're murdering criminals, and we see them, and we're aware of them. And when they start releasing even more powerful bioweapons, everybody's going to know it's them. And no underground fortress is going to keep them safe. They need to understand that. We blast through their paradigm. We know the truth. By the way, they're having a fake event with George Bush Sr., George W., Obama, and all these globalists at the White House right now. And somebody showed me on their iPhone. I went and checked it. In fact, folks, look that up if my crew can do that. Meeting at the White House today, and just click Google NSA News. And they're all meeting over there because I bet you, like last year on the Friday and Saturday when Obama and Hillary disappeared, I'll bet you with the level of security here, the fences, the barricades, the SWAT teams, the bivouacs, everything they got set up, there is some big wigs. There's some big mafia meeting stuff going on here right now. You better believe it. So this is incredibly important. Rob Dew, guys, you got any comments on that?
Well, I think I figured out why the Washington Post hasn't been covering Bilderberg, because they are over at the White House. Obama hosts former presidents, first ladies, George W. Bush portrait unveiling. So they're going to have a portrait of definitely either the first or second dumbest president in the history of the United States, unveiling his portrait.
It's so incredibly important.
Right.
What the portrait? Let's talk about the portrait.
Exactly. That's what's important.
Meeting happening.
Yeah, not the fact that over hundreds of the biggest mafia heads are here right now, meeting in secret, but we're exposing the light on them, Alex. We're letting them know we know who they are, and we're going to keep doing it. And man, this makes me very proud to be part of new media, because this is where it's all happening right now.
Back with
this is new media.
Alex Jones, everybody else, Bilderberg 2012. Stay with us. We're going to be covering key info straight ahead.
For a long time.
All right, my friends, we are back live from Chantilly 2012 Bilderberg, and there's already now, it looks like, 200 people on this side until there's about 100 over on the other entrance. Just really amazing. People could take time out of the slave grid to get over here. And, of course, the local defense contractor businesses that have these wide-open parking lots in other areas where we could park 4 years ago have got the police in there really freaking out on people and getting in their face. So they're doing whatever they can to keep people out of here. But most of the police I talk to now that'll actually talk to us are listeners and are awake and know what's going on and know there's a crime syndicate inside. So that happened on tape earlier. We lost our live feed earlier. Yeah, so call them, Aaron, and tell them to call this camera, and we'll go live on Skype on this one. Or maybe you can call their Skype ID that way. Doing some directing here behind the scenes. We had a bunch of backup batteries, but ended up leaving them on the RV, but that happens in the fog of the info war. Let me start now so Paul Watson can get this and get reports out on it. And again, I want to commend the whole team for working double time, the crew back in Austin, the crew here, the crew in England, everybody and all the listeners. Let me go over in my chicken scratch some of the things that we're getting from our sources here. Herman von Rupe is going to be here. I don't know if he's on the list, but he's going to be here from Jim Tucker's source, which is impeccable. And they're trying to push a world bank that you pay all your carbon taxes to. Again, we know this, but that's what's on the agenda now. How do they have the European Central Bank become basically the new global bank by imploding the countries, but then posing as the savior, always getting people basically deeper into the quicksand? So that is coming up. Continuing here, we have reports on the front of something that they're very upset about is that their Law of the Sea Treaty to give the UN, that means the bankers that run it, control of the oceans to start taxing all the ships on the oceans, including our waterways like rivers, anything that touches an ocean. So basically most of the United States waterways, including lakes that really are reservoirs or dammed rivers, under UN control, allows foreign corporations to come in and loot everything while harassing the living daylights out of local fishermen and people. In Mexico, I've been down to Mexico the last few years, no more little fishermen down by Cozumel and places. They're not allowed to fish anymore. They're that angry. But big giant trawlers are allowed to go on the side of the shore and just scoop up whatever they want. Just total slavery. Agenda 21, your country being handed over to foreign banks through fraud. They create the fraud, have you sign on to it. They're very upset that their Bank of the World is in trouble, that their Law of the Sea Treaty is in trouble, even though they've had traitors like the former senator from Tennessee out there pushing it. They want to, again, accelerate the rollout of world government as the savior with 3 super blocks, Asia Union, European Union, North American Union, but integrate all those by stealth. They are really worried about resurrecting their carbon tax, so they're going to shift off of that, but just say a carbon tax is needed to save endangered species. We're now live on Justin TV. Of the crew wants to be able to get that feed and put it up on our main page. We've lost our connection to the great folks over at Ustream, but we do have that Justin TV feed for folks that are watching on Prisonplanet.tv. That feed is back up. Again, we'll have more live feeds out here later today. Again, Bilderberg was irate. We've confirmed that as we broke 2 days ago, that we have moles inside and that we learned the location so early and that there's so much media coverage, though there's still somewhat of a blackout. There's WorldNet Daily, Washington Times, Drudge Report, InfoWars, and so many alternative media. It's really having a big effect. The Daily Mail, some of the European newspapers, a bunch of mainline Canadian papers are saying, hey, why is our premier down there pushing carbon taxes, Agenda 21? So they're very, very upset over that. They want to accelerate internet IDs. As Aaron Dykes noticed, one of the head Bilderberg people, a government regulator of the EU, was calling for a few weeks ago. That is confirmed, a big agenda. They want that to be able to tax the web selectively, force people over to internet too. That's highly surveilled and curtailed. That's a big part of the plan. You're getting directly from the moles, okay? Integrated from 4 different sources. Jim Tucker's mole, our 3 moles. And of course, I should add, you also know that Estelin does have some connections into the highest banking order. Again, they do want a war, but they don't know how to sell it, and the military, the U.S. military, keeps balking at it, explaining that it's going to unravel. Russia threatening to nuke if any of these big wars start, or if any more missiles are rolled into Eastern Europe. That's got the globalists concerned. Not that Russia's good either. It's all corrupt big governments. China, they're all in double deals with each other. All these groups are interlocking, but all busy stabbing each other in the back as well. And I've been sweating so bad that a bunch of this writing got messed up in my back pocket. Continuing here, we're going to go to break and come back. We're going to get final comments from Paul Watson on this, and then we're going to get Dew's comments, and then we're going to take a few calls. If anybody is out here on the scene, they're welcome to call in from the scene of Bilderberg 2012, or people even inside if you want to try to call in. 800-259-9231. If you're exposing Bilderberg 2012, 800. I want to play that 1984 clip. I want to play that Twilight Zone clip. That's powerful. Can you guys cue up Rod Serling? I think he makes a good point here. I think Rod Serling, who hated tyranny on record, should be with us here at Bilderberg 2012. So cue that up, and we're going to play that here for folks, and then get into some of their other agenda points and get Rob Dew's take on it after Paul Watson leaves us so we can get his next story filed. Do you guys have Rod Serling ready? Let's go ahead and roll Rod Serling. Here it is. Yeah, no, you guys had played it out. Go back to the beginning of Rod Serling. We're going to get him on air.
You're listening to the Alex
Yeah.
Show.
Okay, here's Rod Serling. We're going to play that clip. And then we're going to go back into the agenda and the other stuff.